not in that way, but there were quite often periods when I hardly gave it a thought. There was lots of other things I was doing. What was interesting about that is that for several years, when something would bring me back to it, I found that I had the impression that it had all been explained away. And then I would realize that no, nothing had been explained away, but my mind was trying to tidy it up anyhow. That wore off eventually. Yeah, I mean, it really defies explanation that anything could have gone on all this long, or even a few years without ever being settled. What I thought in the first place was when we had some evidence that the people in the universities and so on that were trained in the appropriate disciplines would be very excited to take this up and provide the answers. It certainly didn't occur to me that I just never would ever do anything. Yeah, this had always been my focus, was to turn this over to the people who were competent to deal with it. And of course they wouldn't touch it. And they come up with the stupidest explanations. You know. Of course, in the beginning, just about all of us thought we would be able to find the answer. And of course Rene never changed. He always wanted to be the guy who made the big discovery and got the fame and the money that went with it. This is why we ended up splitting up, because I reached a point where I felt that the more people were involved and the more help we could give them, the better. And he felt that I was giving people his hard-earned information. I could certainly see his point of view. To a large extent, he's right. You know, he's made it almost the only thing in his life to try to get to the bottom of this. All his hard-earned information available to people who are just starting out. You know, I could certainly see his point of view. And when I say his, I mean basically we've been in it together. So whatever I knew, he could feel he had a stake in it, and vice versa. That is when the real research begins. Mm-hmm. But what's generally ignored is that a major part of that research is going to be carving the things up. There will be, once science establishes that these things exist, they will be collected for study. They obviously don't need protection. One thing that I think is very probable is that their numbers are increasing, because all of the great apes are susceptible to human diseases. and the diseases that overcame the Indian population obviously would have gotten into this population as well. The numbers would almost inevitably be increasing. The survivors would either not be exposed or might even be able to tolerate it. The population should recover. It's my impression, and this is something where I do have expertise, that there's more to be found today than there was 50 years ago. There's more going on. Things are coming to public attention in places where they had no reason to believe they were there before. The majority of reports are from the East and have been for years. You know, it's a much bigger area, and what a lot of people would perhaps find hard to understand, there's a lot more animals there. So much of the Pacific coast has got too many trees. And what opened my eyes was back giving a talk in Ohio, and I was interviewed by the outdoors reporter of one of the daily newspapers, and he told me how many hunting licenses are issued in that state every year. And you know, sitting out here, I thought that place was pretty crowded with people, but there's more animals to be seen, and you know, than we'll ever see here. I would have liked to go to China when they started reporting them over there. But the best interview I ever did was one out on the lawn at home when there was something going on. There were a lot of people there, and somebody had a really good camera. I was in a fine form. People were practically applauding. Camera wasn't loaded. It wasn't a professional, obviously. It just happened to be going so well. Well, like there's another time when a bunch came from Seattle and thereabouts to the house, and we were going around looking at things in the basement and pulling stuff out here and there and so on. You know, and I suddenly just realized, well, you know, if somebody had been filming this, it would have been better than anything I've ever seen. But if you set out to do that, it probably wouldn't work.
Please support this channel by subscribing and leaving comments. Stay well, stay safe. Here's wishing each and every one of you a wonderful holiday season. Merry Squatchmas, everyone!